Let us begin this press conference. I open the floor for questions. Okay. Ayushi here.
So this is Ayushi Jaiswal from ANI. So just wanted to have your reaction on the recent comments made by US President Donald Trump on the issue of $21 million funding for voter turnout in India. Has the US side discussed this or raised this issue with India before?
Okay. Suhasini.
Just following up on the question about the Department of Government Efficiency's claims in the US about payments that were to have gone to India. That's what the social media post says, that this money of $21 million was to have gone to India and has since been cancelled. I wanted to ask if the government knows where this money was expected to be received. And under what category that was going to be. I think they talk about voter education, but obviously the Indian government would know where that money was to have been received in the future. My second question is related to that, which is that in the last, well, probably 50 years, but in the last 10 years in particular, since the 2015 joint statement between India and the US, I think it's called Sabka Vikas Sajha Bayan, there are a number of MOUs that the Indian government has entered into with the USAID. So there are MOUs with the Department of Animal Husbandry, with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, a number of others for the Gandhi King Fellowship, which was held, I think, in June. The signing was done in the presence of the National Security Advisors of both countries. So these are all specific MOUs with USAID. In the comments made, President, an inquiry underway about the money that actually already had come in. I do have a question later about the Indian immigrants, but I can wait on that.
Okay. Rishabh.
Joint Secretary, good afternoon. This is Rishabh from Times Now. So there are two questions, both on Bangladesh. When External Affairs Minister met his counterpart, Toil Hussain, on the sidelines of IOR, was SARC discussed? Because there are reports that SARC was discussed and Bangladesh wanted to resume SARC. Also, a related question to Bangladesh, that we have seen there have been comments coming in from the members of interim government which are quite violent toward India, anti-India statements. Is that affecting the bilateral talks or bilateral negotiations, whatever is happening between Delhi and Dhaka?
Okay. Reza.
Reza from Hindustan Times. I was just wondering if we could get a kind of a quick snapshot of how much aid we have received from the USA, that even in the last 5 years or 2 or 3 years, and how much of that is from USAID out of the total figures.
Siddhant.
Short while ago, the Indian External Affairs Minister and the Chinese FM had a bilateral meeting, a second bilateral meeting since the Kazan talk. So essentially, if you can brief us, what was the key talking point from the Indian side and what were the expectations over next steps in terms of normalization of the relationship?
Okay. We got 5 questions, so we'll come back for more. So Ayushi and Suhasini, our question is regarding USAID, the information that has been put out. So, we have seen information that has been put out by the US administration regarding certain USAID activities and funding. These are obviously very deeply troubling. This has led to concerns about foreign interference in India's internal affairs. Relevant departments and agencies are looking into this matter. It would be premature to make a public comment at this stage. So, Reza, relevant authorities are looking into this matter, and hopefully we can come up with an update on that subsequently. अमेरिकी सरकार की तरफ से, उनके एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से ये खुलासा किया गया है कि कुछ यूएसएड की एक्टिविटीज़ और फंडिंग के बारे में ये जो खुलासा किया गया है, ये कंसर्निंग है, ट्रबलिंग है, और इसको लेके काफ़ी सारी चिंताएं हैं फॉरेन इंटरफेरेंस को लेके भारत के अपने अंदरूनी मामले में। हमारे यहाँ जो एजेंसीज हैं, डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं जो इस मामले में काम करते हैं, कार्यरत हैं, वो इस मुद्दे पर और छानबीन कर रहे हैं और काम कर रहे हैं। और इस वक्त, इस समय इस मुद्दे पे कोई भी पब्लिक कमेंट या घोषणा करना मेरे समझ से समयोचित नहीं होगा। Rishabh, on your question regarding Bangladesh, first question was regarding whether SARC came up for discussion or not. Yes, the matter was brought up by the Bangladesh side in external affairs meeting. When EM met with Bangladesh foreign advisor in Muscat, everyone in South Asia is aware of which country and what activities are responsible for stymieing SARC. EM conveyed that it is important that Bangladesh should not normalize terrorism. Regarding a second question about the comments being made by certain advisors and what sort of impact it will have on our dealings. Yes, we have taken note of such remarks, which are of course not helpful. It is for the concerned individuals to reflect on implications for their particular domain. So that is how I would like to answer your question. Siddhant, on the meeting with the Chinese foreign minister, just a while ago, we had this meeting on the sidelines of the G20 foreign ministers meeting in Johannesburg. External Affairs Minister and Chinese Foreign Minister, His Excellency Wang Yi, met on the sidelines of G20. The meeting lasted for about 30 minutes. The two ministers reviewed developments in our bilateral relationship since their last meeting in November, specifically the management of peace and tranquility in border areas, Kailash Mansarovar Yatra resumption, trans-border rivers, flight connectivity, and travel facilitation were discussed. There was also an exchange of views on G20 and SCO. So that is to give you a readout of the foreign ministers, external affairs ministers with meeting with the Chinese foreign minister. In addition, we have put out his opening remarks, which are there available in the public domain. So I would refer you to them. Thank you. KG.
सर मुकेश कौशिक फ्रॉम दैनिक भास्कर सर, जैसा आपने कहा कि रिलेवेंट डिपार्टमेंट इसको देख रहे हैं यूएसएड को, कैन यू टेल अस कि ये रिलेवेंट डिपार्टमेंट कौन से हैं? क्या उनकी कोई इंटर मिनिस्ट्रियल मैकेनिज्म बनाई गई है? और डू यू डिसएग्री विद द रिपोर्ट्स दैट मनी वाज नॉट फॉर इंडिया बट फॉर बांग्लादेश?
Okay. Huma.
So I'm Huma Siddiqui. I have a, I don't know if this question was asked, but at KIT, there was an incident where a Nepalese student has committed suicide.
Correct.
So what is the MEA doing about, I mean, do you have any update on the situation there?
Okay.
Good evening, sir. Theri Maheshwari from Sputnik, sir. I have two questions. One is regarding the meeting between EM Jaishankar and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The Russian readout said that Mr. Jaishankar was briefed on the Riyadh summit, and now we are seeing that there are some differences between Ukraine and the US administration. So, how does India look at the normalization of relations between, a step towards normalization of relations between US and Russia? So the second question is it's in regards to the meeting between the Brazilian foreign minister and EM Jaishankar. So was the threat of imposing tariffs on BRICS countries, was that discussed during the meeting? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Keshav.
So thank you. Good evening, Keshav from the print. Just associating with what was asked earlier,
When discussions with the Brazilian foreign minister took place, as well as when Jaishankar called upon the president of South Africa, was BRICS' future discussed, given that the US President Donald Trump said that BRICS is dead and has been attacking the regional bloc at various levels over the last few months? And secondly, continuing with the question of the meeting with Mr. Lavrov, did India take any position with regards to bringing both Ukraine and Russia to the table, given the Riyadh summit did not have the participation of Ukraine? Thank you, sir.
सर मैं प्रकाश दुबे न्यूज़ इंडिया से। मेरा सवाल है कि अमेरिका से मैं अवैध रूप से रह रहे भारतीयों को जिनको वापस भेजा जा रहा है, कुछ तस्वीरें आई हैं पनामा में जिनको छोड़ा गया है, तो उसको लेकर क्या जानकारी है? दूसरा, जिस तरह से उनको सैनिक विमान से पहले भेजा गया, उसको लेकर पार्लियामेंट में कई अपोजिशन की पार्टियों ने आपत्ति जताई थी, देश में उसको लेकर विरोध भी हो रहा है। तो भारत सरकार ने कहा था वो यूएस से बात करेंगे, उसको लेकर क्या जानकारी है? क्योंकि अभी भी उसी तरीके से व्यवहार किया जा रहा है, अवैध रूप से भारतीयों को उसी तरीके से भेजा जा रहा है, हथकड़ी लगाकर।
ओके, मुकेश जी, देखिए, यूएसएड के मुद्दे पे जो मुझे कहना था, मैंने आपको उससे अवगत कराया है और ये बताया है कि बहुत सारे भारतीय सरकार में इकाई हैं जो इस पे यूएसएड के साथ काम करती हैं। वो कई एक मंत्रालय हैं, तो जितने भी इससे संबंधित मंत्रालय और जो एजेंसीज काम कर रहे हैं वो इस मुद्दे को अभी देख रहे हैं। तो जब एक अपडेट हमारे पास आएगा तो आपसे अपन साझा करेंगे। Huma, on KIT, what happened there with the Nepalese students, we are deeply saddened by the tragic death of the Nepalese student at the Kalanga Institute of Industrial Technology in Bhubaneswar. We convey our heartfelt condolences to the grieving family. The Government of India, as you know, accords high priority to the safety, security, and well-being of all international students in our country. MEA has been in constant touch with the Odisha government and KIT authorities since the situation came to light. We have also maintained close contact with the Nepalese authority. Pursuant to our outreach, several steps have been taken by the Odisha government as well as the KIT Institute to address the situation. Odisha police has made several arrests, including the accused, and cases have been filed against these people. The government of Odisha has also constituted a high-level fact-finding committee based on whose findings appropriate legal and administrative actions shall be taken going forward. The Odisha government has also taken steps to facilitate the return because, as you would know, several of the students had gone back and now they are coming. So the Odisha government has also taken steps to facilitate the return of Nepalese student and ensure their safety, security, and participation in academic activities. The Odisha police, local police in Bhubaneswar, has also established a 24/7 helpline number for Nepalese students. We remain in regular contact with the Nepalese authorities as also the Odisha government to ensure real-time communication and coordination in this matter. Nepali students studying in India form an important facet of the enduring people-to-people ties, links that we share with Nepal. The Government of India will continue to take all necessary actions and steps to ensure the safety and security and well-being of all Nepali students in India. Dharya, regarding a meeting with Foreign Minister of Russia, we had External Affairs Minister had a meeting with the Foreign Minister of Russia on the sidelines of G20 Foreign Ministers meeting in Johannesburg. If I'm not wrong, the meeting happened yesterday. They discussed all aspects of India-Russia bilateral ties, naturally, and also they discussed the recent developments pertaining to the Ukraine conflict, including what transpired or including the developments that happened in his Riyadh meeting, and they have agreed to remain in touch. We've also, posted details of this meeting on our digital platforms. insofar as the meeting, external affairs meeting with the Brazilian foreign minister is concerned, yes, he did have a meeting with the Brazilian foreign minister because we also form part of the Troika, India, Brazil, and South Africa. And both leaders discussed bilateral ties, global developments, our work in G20, and how we could contribute to the process further. And these were some of the discussions, some of the issues that were discussed in the meeting with the Brazilian foreign minister. Keshav, on the question of BRICS, what direction it is going, I would ask you to look at the remarks made by the foreign minister, our external affairs minister, sorry, on the discussion. There was a discussion session in G20 yesterday on titled Discussion on the Global Geopolitical Situation that happened yesterday, where external affairs minister has spoken about the developments in the world in general terms, and what G20 means in that regard, etc. So that will give you an answer as to what is our position on BRICS and how we see things going forward. Well, again, with he called on President Ramaphosa. Obviously, it's important. This meeting was important because South Africa is the chair, and President Ramaphosa will be conducting the summit meeting, the G20 summit meeting, when it happens in Johannesburg later this year. The call on, obviously, there were issues of bilateral nature which were discussed, as also issues concerning G20 meetings. And specifically, the G20 session that EM addressed was focused on the challenges that we see in the world today. So those issues you can refer to in his remarks. Prakash ji, पनामा में कुछ डेपोटीज अमेरिका से लाए गए हैं. इनको अमेरिका से पनामा लाया गया है. वहाँ पर इनको होटल में रखा गया है. उसमें से कुछ लोग भारतीय नागरिक हो सकते हैं. इसकी पुष्टि तभी होगी जब इनका वेरिफिकेशन जो है, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है, उसका वेरिफिकेशन हम कर लेंगे. एक बार इनकी ये स्थापित हो जाती है कि ये लोग जो वहाँ गए हैं वो भारत के नागरिक हैं, तो फिर उनको दस्तावेज जारी किया जाएगा ताकि उनको फिर वहाँ से अपना घर भारत वापस लाया जाए. तो ये है जो मैं आपसे अभी साझा कर सकता हूँ, जो हमारे पास जो अवेलेबल इंफॉर्मेशन है. एक और बात आपने कही, जो फ्लाइट्स आई थी 15 और 16 तारीख को, उसके बारे में कि उसमें भी क्या बेड़ी लगा के लाया गया लोग को. तो मैं ये कह सकता हूँ कि 15 और 16 तारीख को जो फ्लाइट्स लाए गए हैं, हम लोगों ने अपनी कंसर्न्स जो हैं वो अमेरिकी सरकार के साथ साझा की थी कि जो वहाँ से लोग आए उसको एक ह्यूमन तरीके से उनको लाया जाए और उनके साथ और भी जो उनके रिलीजियस सेंसिटिविटीज़ हैं उनका ध्यान में रखा जाए. तो हमारे अंडरस्टैंडिंग के हिसाब से जो 15 और 16 फरवरी को जो जहाज आई अमृतसर में, उसमें बच्चों को और जो औरतें हैं उनको किसी प्रकार का वो शैकलिंग नहीं किया गया. इंग्लिश में. अच्छा. So we've seen some reports about deportation flights to Panama and Costa Rica. Now, it is our understanding that these have been undertaken as per a bridge arrangement between US and the respective governments. Both Costa Rica and Panama have agreed to serve as transit countries for deportees, while the US bears all the costs of the operation. We have some Indian nationals, we understand, and our mission in the group, and our mission in Panama, which is also accredited to Costa Rica. They are in touch with the local authorities. In case of Panama, we are verifying the details, whether the individuals concerned are Indian nationals or not. Once that verification details are complete, then arrangements will be made for the return of these Indian nationals back home. In case of Costa Rica, while we have heard that some people have been sent from United States, we have heard this through through media. Uh, Officially, we have yet to hear from the Costa Rica side. Swasti.
Sorry, just a follow-up to to your answer just now. Are we to understand that Indians can be picked up at will in the US, sent to a third country without our okay on this? And are we in any way taking it up with the United States, either in Washington or in Delhi, that none of this constitutes? I mean, one thing you said was that women and children are no longer being shackled, but men are still being shackled. Military planes are still being used. Suspected illegally entered Indian immigrants, because these are people the US is saying are illegal immigrants, are being picked up and sent to a third country. And the Indian government does not seem to have a visible response to it, other than to say we will make arrangements if and when required.
Reza.
Reza from Hindustan Times. There are legal experts in Panama who are actually questioning the validity of these deportations to Panama. They are saying that they don't seem to have a sound legal basis. Wouldn't this complicate the issue for people who may be of Indian origin, I mean Indian nationality over there? And are we discussing this with the US?
Sudhi.
So, Shudhirajan from Bloomberg, any understanding that you can give us as to whether the government of India, including the Ministry of External Affairs, have gotten together and deciding a response or a preparation for the trade agreement that India and US is supposed to be doing by fall? And if so, where is that exercise, sir?
Ajay.
Sir, I'm Ajay Banerjee from the Tribune. I refer to you to a media report today which has appeared in the English newspaper in India, which has fact-checked Donald Trump's claim of giving $21 million to India. So, sir, my question to you is, have we agreed or have we accepted the fact that $21 million have come to India or not? That is the only point.
Please.
Sir, this is Agni from ABP. Yesterday in a press conference, DG BGB categorically said and denied the allegation of minority atrocity in Bangladesh. He said that this is exaggeration and media planted. What is your reaction to this, sir?
Okay, we got 5 questions here. So, Suhasini, first, whether they're being picked up at will or not, I think you should take your question to the relevant government. As far as our understanding is concerned, the people who've been sent back to Panama, they were staying in the United States illegally. Now, they are there in Panama. We're taking care of them. Once their identity is established and we are certain they're Indian nationals, documentations will be done and arrangements by relevant people, relevant authorities there would be made for them to return back home. So hopefully that should happen soon. Sorry?
He did tell us that they were moving back.
See, we understand that the United States government has had arrangement with few countries. That's why I made this reference to a bridge arrangement between the United States and the respective governments. So Costa Rica and Panama happens to be part of that. Reza, on legal experts on deportation, this may be a view in Panama, but as far as we are concerned, we've made it very clear right from the very beginning that if there are any Indian national abroad who's staying there illegally, and we happen to verify that he's an Indian national, we are ready to take them back. This is exactly what is happening in the case of Panama as well. My understanding is that once their details we are certain that they are Indian nationals, arrangements will be made for them to return home. And question regarding whether we are discussing, yes, we are in talks with the Panama government there. Our embassy there is in regular touch. They've had consular access. In fact, there was a issue that, some of them were having some difficulty there. That may have been case with people from other nationality, not with people who we supposedly are of Indian nationality. So the on trade agreement, see the joint statement that was adopted few days back when the Prime Minister visited United States. It is a very clear language in the joint statement as to how both sides are going to move forward on this bilateral trade arrangement by fall of 2025. So I would refer you to that. But just to highlight that both sides have agreed to negotiate the first tranche of a mutually beneficial multi-sector bilateral trade agreement by fall of 2025. The joint statement, in fact, also refers that the two sides will take an integrated approach to strengthen and deepen bilateral trade across goods and services sector and will work towards increasing market access, reducing tariff and non-tariff barriers, and deepening supply chain integration. So, as per the agreement in the joint statement, now in the next phase, we'll move forward on the trade issues that are there to be handled. Ajay, whether your question is regarding, specific confirmation, I just said that, relevant agencies and departments in Government of India are looking into the matter, and therefore, first let them look into the matter, study the issues at hand, and thereafter, we'll come up with whatever we have to say and update you. At this point in time, it is a little premature for us to comment on this matter. Agni, your question regarding minority issues in Bangladesh, we are all aware what has happened in the last several months. There have been issues regarding security and safety of minorities in Bangladesh. In fact, this was an issue which came up for discussion during Prime Minister's visit in Washington as well. And we relayed our concerns as what's happening in Bangladesh. Kunal?
Good evening, sir. This is Kunal from PTI. Two-part question. One is on the Prime Minister's recent visit to US. The issue of deportation, I'm not know in which language it came out during the bilateral talks, but it did come out after as an outcome that they will try to clamp down on the system, the ecosystem that promotes and which allows them to thrive. Has there any roadmap been drawn since the return of the Prime Minister about the illegal deportation, the illegal migration, sir, number one. And number two, the talks about Russia-Ukraine crisis now being seen happening at two places, the two poles rather, one is in Europe, Paris, and the other in Riyadh. India has maintained a very constant position of being on the side of peace. But in the light of the recent development, is India recalibrating its position or does it still maintain the same position? Thank you.
Neeraj?
सर नमस्कार, मैं नीरज सुबह प्रभा साक्षी से। सर मेरे दो सवाल हैं। पहला सवाल सर ये है कि ऐसी खबरें हैं कि जो चीनी नौसेना है वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया के पास जो एक्सरसाइज कर रही है उससे तनाव बना हुआ है और इस तरह की रिपोर्टें हैं कि वहां पर एक्सरसाइज करना जो है वो सामान्य घटना नहीं है। तो क्या क्वाड नेताओं ने इसका कुछ संज्ञान लिया, इस पर कुछ करनी है की प्रतिक्रिया? और दूसरा सर, 2 दिन पहले पाकिस्तान ने फिर से वही अपनी पुरानी चाल चलते हुए अपनी संसद में प्रस्ताव पारित किया है कि कश्मीर में जनमत संग्रह कराया जाना चाहिए। इस पर
Okay, Raghavendra.
Radhir Jaiswal from German television ZDF. So it's about the illegal immigrants. You had earlier mentioned that this illegal immigration is connected to organized crime. So does Indian government consider those involved in illegal immigration as also criminal in any way? And there were reports that at least one tried to go again abroad after being unsuccessful first time. So what, all these individuals who come back, they retain their passports? Are they free to go again out whenever they want, or is there something else Indian government has planned?
Please.
Thank you, sir. I'm Shailesh from National Defense, sir. During the visit of our Prime Minister to Washington, D.C., sir, President Trump offered F-35 out of blue, but there have been lynching deliveries of F-404 engine for LCAs assembly. Chief has raised that issue. Was this issue discussed of the lynching deliveries of engines, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sandra from Deutsche Welle. Just a question regarding the big visit of the European Union Commission next week. Clearly, they would want to revitalize the free trade agreement talks, which have been going on for 18 years. What are India's expectations, given the shifting global order?
Okay. Can we come back? Huh? So, Kunal, first regarding your question about illegal immigration. This matter has been discussed here in India at the highest level, and this matter was discussed in Washington as well. If you read the joint statement, there is expansive language on illegal immigration, conveying the commitment of both countries to combat it. Prime Minister, in his statement in Washington, also made it very clear that human trafficking needs to be fought by India, United States, and all countries who have a stake in it, because we need to fight it tooth and nail. It does not serve the purpose of anybody's purpose. If you look at the press, the joint statement carefully, it has very strong language as to how both countries want to fight illegal immigration and how they want to take it forward. It talks about both countries aggressively addressing illegal migration and human trafficking by taking strong action against bad actors, criminal facilitators, and illegal immigration networks to promote mutual security of both countries. It also talks about illegal immigration networks, organized crime syndicates, including narco terrorists, human and arms traffickers, as well as other elements who threaten public and diplomatic safety and security, and the sovereignty and territorial integrity of both nations. So very strong language, very strong commitment between the two countries to fight illegal immigration, and along with it, associated organized crime and several other elements, criminal elements that form part of the network. On Russia-Ukraine crisis, see, Kunal, our position, there are talks that are happening in several parts. Our position on this particular issue is very clear. We called for and we have maintained this consistently, that we want both parties involved to resort to dialogue and diplomacy and take this process forward. Our Prime Minister, when he was addressing the press conference in Washington, yet again made it very clear that this is not an era of war and that there is no solution for any conflict on the battlefield. So our position has been consistent, and our position remains that dialogue and diplomacy is the way forward. नीरज, पहला सवाल आपका जो है कश्मीर को लेके, देखिए कश्मीर पे जो हमारा पोजीशन है, मैं उसको फिर से रखना चाहता हूं आपके सामने कि कश्मीर भारत का एक, जम्मू कश्मीर भारत का अभिन्न अंग है, रहेगा, और इस पे कोई दो राय नहीं होना चाहिए। और जहां तक इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र की बात है, वहाँ पर हमारा पोजीशन बड़ा क्लियर है कि जो भी चीज़ें वहाँ होती हैं वो इंटरनेशनल लॉ के हिसाब से होनी चाहिए, और कोई भी वहाँ पर अगर कोई डिस्प्यूट या कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो तो उसको शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से उसको सुलझाना चाहिए। Again, on illegal immigration, we are committed to fight it tooth and nail. It is, of course, linked to organized crime. I understand that some arrests have been made here by respective state police and governments to crack down on illegal immigration. Some of the people who've come back, they have gone home. In some cases, there may have been other issues. Whether they continue to be, whether they are free or not to go here and there, those are issues that will be looked into by people. But when they've gone home, they are gone home. They have not been arrested. See, no, once a passport issued, there is certain procedure that is adopted, and those things will be taken into account as and when travel documents are being issued to you. Shailesh, your question was regarding G engines. Yes, this matter, the delayed delivery of G engines was taken up during Prime Minister's visit. We remain engaged with the US side on all aspects relating to contracted defense articles, including the timely deliveries. Furthermore, during the visit of the Prime Minister, as you are aware, you would have seen it, it was decided that the two sides uh, have agreed to conclude a new 10-year framework for the US-India major defense partnership in the 21st century. This is also reflected in the joint statement. So yes, to answer your question, this particular issue was discussed during Prime Minister's visit. The other question that you asked was regarding F-35. The India-US joint statement mentions that the US side is reviewing its policy on releasing fifth-generation fighters to India. President Trump had also made a reference during the press conference to F-35 aircraft, and no formal acquisition process for a fifth-generation fighter has been initiated as yet at our end. Regarding your question, yes, we will be putting out press release on the upcoming visit. European Union, India strategic partnership is very important for us, and we are looking forward to this particular conversation happening at the high level so that we can further strengthen India-EU partnership. Hopefully soon we will announce the visit of the incoming delegation, high-level delegation from the European Union. All aspects of the relationship, including trade issues, technology issues, will be discussed during the visit. Huma and Abhishek.
So there are reports about a Kenyan diplomat's son allegedly raping a minor. So what is the MEA doing about it? Is there any update? And my second question is, during the PM's visit to the US, did the two sides talk about India getting crude from Venezuela?
Sorry?
From Venezuela, can we restart on the government level, not at a commercial level?
Hi, sir. Abhishek Jha this side. During the recent visit of Turkish president in Pakistan, he said that Turkey stands in solidarity with our Kashmiri brothers. So my question is that has MEA taken note of this statement, and what is your stance on that? Also, we have learned from media reports that there is some negotiation between Indian government and the Taliban establishment of a diplomat accredited with Taliban being posted in India. Do you have any update on that?
Okay. Mukesh.
Sir, last I checked from parliamentary questions, there were over 269 illegal American migrants in India some years ago. What is the current situation and what are our plans to send them back?
Please.
सर मैं संजीव त्रिवेदी न्यूज़ 24 टेलीविजन से जो इस वक्त बातें हो रही है मौजूदा जो डिबेट है यूएसएड वाले मामले में उसमें ये है कि $21 बिलियन आए या नहीं आए जो एलन मस्क का डिपार्टमेंट है वो अभी भी उस ट्वीट को कायम रखे हुआ है जिसमें कहा जाता है कि $21 बिलियन भारत आए थे। इसके अलावा प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप की तरफ से भी ये कहा गया, लेकिन जो रिपोर्ट्स आई हैं आज कुछ अखबारों में वो कहती है कि वो भारत आया ही नहीं का। अब आपके जवाब से ये लगता है कि जांच अगर चल रही है तो शायद वो भारत आया था और इस हिसाब से जांच चल रही है कि भारत में वो रिसीव हुआ था। क्या आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं?
So let me come to these questions. Huma, first your question regarding the issue involving a Kenyan student from the Kenyan embassy. We have requested the Kenyan government to waive diplomatic immunity of the person concerned so that the investigation in the matter can go forward, and we are pursuing this matter with the Kenyan government. On the issue of crude from Venezuela, I don't think this is a bilateral matter between India and Venezuela. This particular matter rests with India and Venezuela, not between India and the United States. So I don't have an update on that, but we'll come back to you. Abhishek, regarding your question on the issue of Kashmir, which was raised in Pakistan, we reject such objectionable comments on matters which are internal to India. We have lodged a strong protest with the Turkish ambassador in Delhi. Such unwarranted statements on India's territorial integrity and sovereignty are unacceptable. Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. No other country has any locus standi to comment on it. Instead of commenting on internal affairs of another country, it would have been appropriate if Pakistan's policy of using cross-border terrorism against India, which remains the biggest threat for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, had been called out. The other question regarding okay. Now, we do not comment on hypothetical comments, situations, and developments. That is how we look at your question. मुकेश जी, मेरे पास जिस सवाल का जवाब, आपका सवाल का जवाब कोई अपडेट नहीं है कि आपने कहाँ से 2269 लोग यहाँ इलीगली रह रहे हैं। तो इलीगली जो भी यहाँ रह रहा है, अवैध रूप से रह रहा है, जो हमारे संस्थाएं हैं वो उस पर कार्यरत होते हैं और उस पर अपने कानूनवद विधिवत जो कार्यक्रम करना है। करंट नंबर के मेरे पास अपडेट नहीं है, तो मैं आपको जो संस्थाएं हैं उनके पास नंबर होगा कि कितने लोग या डिटेंशन में हैं या जेल में हैं जो अवैध रूप से रह रहे हो यहाँ पर, और उनके साथ क्या कार्य किया जा रहा है। तो मेरे पास अभी अपडेट नहीं है, अपडेट आने के बाद मैं आपको बताऊंगा। संजीव, आपके सवाल और कई एक उससे लगा हुआ सवाल, कई एक से सारे सवाल पहले आए हुए थे USAID पे। उस पर हमने कहा कि जो हमारे यहाँ जो संस्थाएं हैं, जो मंत्रालय हैं, वो इस मुद्दे को देख रही है, और एक बार जब हम लोग को थोड़ा और इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलेगा तो उसके बाद जो है हम इस पे और कुछ आगे बोल सकते हैं। इस समय ये मतलब प्रीमैच्योर है हमको कि कोई पब्लिक कमेंट करना। तो जो मैंने कहा मैं कहूँगा कि उससे ज़्यादा भी मेरे पास कुछ कहने को नहीं है। With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this press conference. Thank you.